Frak, this podcast, come and listen to us talk about Battlestar Galactica. It's a show that we're talking about. Hello, interwebs. I hope you are all doing well, and welcome to the Frak, this podcast. I am your apocalyptic host, Jesse Gender.
I was going to ask, you sure about that?
Look, okay, I have the comments up. I'll just say it now. Bored Barbarian was their comment says that's John Calicos is the original Baltar in the original Battlestar Galactica, and they said he was Core in Star Trek and the voice of Apocalypse in X-Men the animated series. So Apocalypse was the word I saw, and I didn't transition it to apocalyptic and the correct adjective first.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Past tense.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it means to get fucked by Apocalypse, the character.
To get apocalypse.
I've been apocalypsed by Apocalypsed.
Do you know what his actual power set is?
No, not other than learning from looking at a TV.
No, his actual power set is basically complete control of his own body, which generally manifests into being able to get really big or really small, or make certain parts of his body really big or really small.
Yeah, probably be good. Probably be good. Yeah.
And it's not like a Reed Richards stretchy thing. Like he doesn't lose density.
He can fill it out, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
What was it?
Some real girth going.
It was God, what was the when I worked at this place called the Lux. It's a like a studio house that like they work in LA. They do a bunch of like stuff for different studios, like tech stuff. I worked as like a metadata person for like doing iTunes metadata for different corporations. That was
exciting.
It was the shittiest job I ever had. But my coworkers, we got movies early there. We get to like, because like we got a lot of data from all the movies, so we could like see like movies like X-Men Apocalypse early. Yay on that one. But we like for a literal like 2 weeks straight, we were all caught up on the fact that like in the movie Apocalypse goes up to a screen and someone says, "What are you doing?" and he's like touches the screen because he's like learning about like modern history, like what's happened since he's been asleep, and he's like learning. So he just would do that like all the time, where he just go up to a computer and go learning every single moment. That's my biggest connection to Apocalypse.
My main thing with Apocalypse is that it is a movie that exists for no reason other than to explain why Charles is bald.
Yeah. Gave the baldness a traumatic backstory.
That is the only thing of lasting impact that happens in that movie.
And redo Magneto's trauma. Don't forget that.
I will repeat, the only thing of lasting impact that was not already previously accomplished.
Yeah.
As Charles goes bald.
Not only does Magneto have a fridged mother, he has a fridged wife and kid. Everyone's just getting fridged around Magneto.
Yeah. No, it's been too long since he had trauma. We gotta re-traumatize him in like almost the exact same way.
Yeah.
That movie. Oh,
God, it was
that movie
fucking
so
terrible,
shit, man.
Fucking terrible. Well, speaking of fucking terrible, how you been? I'm gonna get a click for that.
I'm okay. I had the country themed burlesque show.
Yeah, how'd it go?
This week. It went well. Went well. I won't lie, I was stressing about my number up until about the day before, when I kind of it was one of those things where I'm like, I know for this part, the second verse, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Because the outfit that I had, it wasn't something that I could like add more layers onto, and there wasn't that much to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So I like had to think about it and figure out. But I'm very happy with what I came out with. People seem to like it a lot. I can't remember if I had settled on what song I was gonna do or had told you or not.
I think you did.
Do you know Chapel Roan's song "The Giver"?
I do not. That's a
Okay.
too recent song and too popular a song to assume I would know it because
It
I don't
is
know
it
pop music whatsoever.
it is very much country infused, and it is about giving women orgasms.
Oh, I'm here for
Yeah,
that.
I had a lot of fun with that song.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you did. Uh, the only thing I've had a bunch of random assorted stuff that I did this week, but the only one to just reference for here, is I saw the movie Dust Bunnies, which is
I've heard good things.
it's very good. I really, really liked it. It felt like an odd middle ground between Brian Fuller's two other big projects that I love of his, Pushing Daisies and Hannibal. It feels like a
Hmm.
weird middle ground between those two, and I ended up really, really adoring it. It is very good. I will say the beginning the beginning is takes a moment. There's a sequence in the beginning that is really great, but it does take a good like 20 minutes before it really picks up. But then after that, it's fantastic.
Hmm.
I really adore it. And then the beginning's not bad. It's just a little slower than I would have wanted. Though again, one sequence is baller in it. So
You know, I finally got around to seeing Fantastic Four.
yeah, I saw your review. Yeah, that's right. I saw your review. You didn't like it as much.
It's fine.
Yeah, I
Like
I
there's nothing really wrong. I can't tell you that there's a problem with it, but there's also absolutely nothing about it that made me go like, "Oh, like that's the thing that is above and beyond."
I enjoyed it as a movie, but it has become essential. I have written an essay that's going to take me a little while to make because it's like a bigger produced thing. But it has become a central feature in that essay that movie has of like how we propagandize like motherhood and like reproductive futurism and that like the smart geniuses of our society need to be the one who that we all sort of like give up for that sort of mindset.
I have been getting shit in the comments for saying that Sue is undercharacterized.
She's mommy. She's just mommy.
That is what I said. Now, like
She even fucking they even fucking sorry they even fucking do the bit that I hate, and this is like a thing that I always say is like, oh, it's I mentioned it even last week on our Battlestar Galactica podcast and this podcast of like the mommy thing. They have a stronger bond with their kid, and like she gets mom strength, super mom strength at the end to save her child of like the strong motherhood bond. it I fucking hate that shit. Like again, I get it. Moms like there's nothing wrong with moms protecting their kids and getting like energy and it's just like this weird propaganda our culture has that's weirdly about this like protect the geniuses, mostly white family above us that like we all need to give ourselves for and sacrifice for their fucking nepo baby.
it's interesting to me that a lot of the pushback I've gotten for saying that Sue was undercharacterized is people saying like, oh, but she did this and like the whole she's like central to the horse. Like I didn't say she was underutilized. I
Hmm.
didn't say she had no purpose. I said she was undercharacterized. And I just have one simple question. What would she do if she wasn't pregnant on this adventure?
it
I
is
don't know.
it
I
is
have absolutely no idea what her inner life is other than mom.
it is interesting to me that people mistake having a function in the narrative with characterization for a pregnant woman. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I didn't say she had no function. She's got a function, a very clear one. She is undercharacterized though.
But that is what mommies are. They serve a function. They don't have personality or purpose. They serve
And
a function.
look, to be fair, she's frequently undercharacterized in the comics as well. And when they try and give her more characterization, it gets weird. It's gotten really weird when they try and give her more characterization. I don't know if you've seen the rather infamous 90s version of her outfit
Oh
where
yeah.
the four on her chest is just a hole in the suit and it's a cleavage window.
I mean, look, I like the cleavage window.
I'm not saying I don't, but she did that just to piss off her husband. Like that's
Oh,
that's
okay, yeah, that's I dislike that.
that's canonical.
That fuck
Um
that.
and
But
then
I like the boob. Klingon women figured this out long. Actually, Klingon men also did too. And Khan. I like the cleavage window. Khan also figured that out.
I'm going to ask you a question, and then I may or may not send you something. Have you heard of malice?
The like concept of malice, yes.
No.
I know
Oh
it.
dear.
I know that's
Oh
not what you
dear.
meant. Yeah.
Okay, so Malice is a character from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get what's a good image?
Am I gonna be sent porn here?
No, you're not about to be sent porn.
I mean,
Well,
now I'm disappointed. That was
not
not a me saying
technically.
no. That was not. I'm disappointed that I'm not.
All right. That'll do. So let me just get this thing and send it to you. Now, this particular image is actually from Marvel Rivals, but this is comic accurate. I'm going to send it
Okay.
to you over Discord.
Okay. Oh, Discord. Okay. That's what I
Yeah,
was looking at our Zoom chat here. Whoa! How is that not porn?
that is Sue Storm.
Really? I can see
Yes,
her camel toe in this.
that is Sue Storm, aka Sue Richards, aka Invisible Girl, aka Invisible Woman, aka Mommy.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
here for it. I'm here for it.
that's Malice because at one point I feel like this was late 80s, early 90s. They decided to make her interesting by giving her an evil alter ego and just making it the most absurd dominatrix nonsense they could come up with.
Beautiful.
You know, I'm going to send you one more. This was the original appearance.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm all about this. I'm all about it. I stand. I stand very, 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 very much.
You get what I mean though when I told you that when they try and inject more character into Sue other than mom and wife, things get weird.
Yeah, and I like it. I'm here for that version of Sue Storm. Bring that in a bring that Sue Storm to Avengers Doomsday. I'll be all about that shit. Well, speaking of women and their function, we're talking about the Eye of Jupiter. That was trash.
That was
I feel like I hurt myself psychically. Yeah, yeah, I know I deserve that one. I'm not
yes,
even
you
gonna.
did.
Yeah. Well, we are talking about the comments from the episode Eye of Jupiter. So to read out some, Honest Tiago says Vera could record herself saying they're terrible people and not in a way that's interesting without context, and it also work in a worryingly high number of cases. Let's see. Raza T1AO said, IDK if polyamory as a norm was established yet in Battlestar Galactica, but if Anders knows Starbuck hooks up with others, why be monogamous? And a three-way with Apollos and Anders sounds like a pretty fun time to me.
Well, Apollo's too vanilla and
Yeah.
boring to
Yeah.
ever like here's the thing.
He'd be too scared.
I could see Kara going for it. I could maybe even see Anders going for it. Lee would never.
No, he'd be too intimidated. He really, really would. Yeah, and it is interesting. Polyamory will come up later in Battlestar Galactica, actually very soon, relatively soon. But it is a big deal in New Caprica. Actually, like one of the first times I really remember seeing polyamory depicted, not unproblematically. There are some things in that show that depict polyamory somewhat problematically,
What
but you,
something connected to this show is somewhat problematic in its
all right.
depictions? What?
Yes,
What?
but I do think it is actually shown to be very positive, generally speaking. We'll get to it when we get to Caprica, but that show does delve into polyamory in a pretty significant way, actually. So
Hmm.
we shall get there. Um, I am entertained by this is Huntery Coney. Apologies if I said that wrong. I am entertained by Jesse forgetting that the spoiler minute is in fact a minute. uh Anyways, those are all the main ones that Sarah, the Fat Culture Critic, says this show may have been cooked up in a lab specifically to irritate Vera.
I'm starting to suspect.
It was just made in a lab just to bother you. I love it.
I
I love it.
like it was very specifically made to have enough to intrigue me where I could see the potential. Like, look, if this was just trash start to finish,
We would have stopped. Yes.
well, we would have stopped, but I also wouldn't be this annoyed except for the repetition of it. I get this annoyed when something should be better than it is.
Again, I feel like my childhood memory did a lot of like, oh, I filled in a lot of the gaps, which is also kind of like Star Trek's better than this, but like, I feel like that's a lot of Star Trek. Star Trek is such a good beginner sci-fi for so many people. Again, I love it beyond just beginner sci-fi, but it is such a beginner sci-fi in it because it's so. I know so many creators or creatives who just like, I got inspired by Star Trek and liked that idea, but I wanted to do it better and deeper. Like even Pluribus is arguably that Vince Gilligan's new thing where he's like exploring shit like the Borg in a deeper way. Like he's like there's a constant Star Trek references in that show where they're like this could be a Star Trek episode, and I'm like I feel like that's kind of what his vibe. So like so much has been inspired by Star Trek of like that was interesting, but you didn't explore it, so I'm gonna fucking do it. So.
Oddly, that's part of why I've never been able to fully get into Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm,
Like I understand it is seminal and I can recognize its quality, but also I saw too many things that were influenced by it and I feel did stuff that it did that at the minimum was more to my taste, if
mm.
not better. And so I watched this and I'm like, okay, I see where the things that I like got some of their ideas from. I still prefer those.
I think it still really holds up. The original show really
I
holds up
don't I
very
don't
well.
disagree. And I will continue to say that if I had watched it when it came out, I'd probably love it.
Fair.
But I didn't.
Korra's the one that didn't hold up. Even though personally I love Korra a lot more. I love the character of Korra a lot more than I like Aang the character, but I think Avatar: The Last Airbender holds up really well. Korra does not, unless you consider the fact that it does in its first season that like revolutionary who is actually evil or goes too far trope that is still ubiquitous today, and you could say that aged well considering we still fucking use it. But uh, yep. Anyways, speaking of frustrating storytelling, let's get into our recap of Battlestar Galactica's episode Taking a Break from All Your Worries. To be fair,
Now,
I say that this episode has some frustrating storytelling. I don't dislike it. But
now it's funny, and I'm going to mention this because it was the first thought I had upon seeing the title.
mm-hmm.
It's like, that is a lyric from the Cheers theme.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Taking a
one of
break
the
from
less,
all your worries. This helps a lot. Yeah, something like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
it's one of the lesser known lyrics because it's later in the song
Mm-hmm.
that, and it's not part of the chorus, so it doesn't get repeated. But yeah, that was the first thing I noted, and that was oddly relevant because we're gonna find out about a bar, and then once that happened, I was like, you know what? I actually kind of respect the titling now
Yeah.
because if they were crass, they could have titled it "A Place Where Everyone Knows Your Name," but they didn't. They just went that little bit off center. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, I see you, Battlestar.
It's cute. I'm in the middle of a Cheers watch for the first time. And it's good. I like the show. I'm about to finish season 3. But it's a little hard to watch as a binge because it's very samey. So the show is very
I mean,
samey.
yeah, it is the epitome of an episodic show.
Yeah.
It's formulaic in that way.
Yeah, but even
Um,
more so than others, and it's a difficult to it's a show that's hard to binge. It's one to like watch an episode a week sort of thing.
yeah, I still argue one of the best series finales, definitely of sitcoms, possibly of television.
Fair. Have you seen The Good Place finale? We are not talking about this show. The Good Place
Of
finale
course
is
I
my
have.
personal series
Of
finale.
course I
I
have.
love that series finale. Anyways, let us actually talk about this episode. We'll get into our
Fine.
recap. Sorry. We start off with on the Galactica, where we hear Atheno and Hilo singing to their baby. But also then we cut to Baltar also singing, and he's singing the nursery rhyme, and he says very clear line, "Should I die before I wake?"
Uh-huh.
Is the very clear line. And then we see that he's basically trying to die by suicide. He's sort of tying it around his neck. And head six is
Yeah,
sort of
it's not immediately evident. You can
yes.
hear like sort of tearing fabric But yes, it isn't too long before you realize that he's twined this up to make a noose.
Yes. Head Six is kind of leading him on, saying you're doing the right thing. He looks the worse for wear to us. Head Six though also helps tie Baltar's noose, just to note. And Baltar at one point says he has second thoughts, and Head Six is the one to kick the bed away as
Yes.
he starts hanging. Um, we also in the middle of all of this, Gato wakes up and he goes to Baltar's cell because he knows about it. And he argues with the guard, and the guard says, no one speaks without authorization. He's like, I have authorization, da 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 da. And
No,
we
nobody sees the wizard. Not nobody, not know
know
how.
how. But he does find he's there. We'll cut back to that in a second. And then we get a sequence where Baltar wakes up in a Cylon resurrection pod.
Which I immediately wrote bullshit. I
Yeah.
didn't write it in all caps because I expected the show to roll this back within a minute, which it
Yes.
did.
Yes.
If I thought it was serious, that would have been an all caps bullshit, but it wasn't because I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, no, this it's bullshit for the fake out.
Yes. It's basically to remind us kind of where Balthar's head is at about being a silent. He's like, oh, I'm alive. I'm alive. Thank God I'm alive. Then I betrayed no one. I'm one of you. And then that there's three sixes around him. And he says, is that what you think? And he's like, I always knew I was different, special, gifted. And then they start scratching him and they drown him. And then we cut to
In the goo.
in the goo, in the nice little goo. And then we cut to Gata and the guard doing CPR on Balta because they presumably came in and saw that he was trying to die by suicide and worked to save his life quickly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Baltar is suicidal. We then cut to, after the opening credits, Apollo down in the flight deck, and he's sort of leading the chief. It's like, oh, you're going to be surprised. And we turn a corner, and it turns out there's a bar now in the flight deck. Now, I have a question here. How the fuck, because this is a really nice looking bar. It's a cool set. I like the set a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did Chief not know about this on his own goddamn flight deck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaks badly of his chief duties.
Well, there's some small things that might be speaking badly to a number of things about him, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll get there.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. But yeah, we have a bartender there. And they start chatting, and Apollo's like, "Oh, I heard you and Callie had a fight." Which he's like, "Oh yeah, we could have sold tickets." I thought.
Yeah, well, so um the chief like immediately downs his drink and Apollo asks as a question, you and Callie have a fight? And Chief's like, I thought you all would have heard it and we would have been able to sell tickets. So Chief is surprised that it's a question and not a statement because apparently of how loud a fight it was.
Mm-hmm. And he says, "To marriage, why we build bars."
Yeah.
Woo! Men just go into the bar to get away from the fucking bitches at home. Am I right, everybody?
Yeah, and Battlestar Galactica becomes a freaking Andy Cap news strip.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
You don't even know what that is, do you?
Nope,
You
no
frick
idea, but
God
I don't
damn it,
don't
you
explain it to me. I don't want to know. I'm not old like you. I'm getting older though. Anyways,
it'll
uh
keep happening.
I know. We then cut to a meeting between Adama, Coddle, Roslyn, and Ty. And Coddle's basically like, I warned you about the sleep deprivation, and his hunger strike didn't help anything. He's basically saying like Baltar's in pretty fucking rough shape, and this suicide attempt is not surprising, but he will survive. And Ty sort of goes, let him die. Um, Roslyn says we need him to talk about Earth. We might have a possible ambush. Um, and if we need to make him like more willing. And she says, well, we'll wait an hour or two and make sure he eats. Like you can shove a tube down his throat.
I mean, she doesn't say that, but we're gonna find out later that that's what it took.
I think she does.
She
Yeah, maybe.
no, she says, um,
I think Kyle says,
yeah,
how are you going to make me do that or something
no,
like that?
Coddle says like, she says like, and he needs to eat. And Kylo's like, what do you expect me to do about that? And she just looks at him and like, make sure he eats.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't tell him what to do, but she
Tells him
tells
what
him
to
what
do.
to do.
Yes. Ty says I'll work on putting security cameras in that cell, which is weird to me that they didn't already.
Yeah, that was really strange to me also that the cells are not like because all right, here's the thing. I do understand that like in theory the justice system for these people largely mirrors our own.
Mm,
And so in theory, it could be a violation of civil rights to have cameras in the cells, except this isn't a standard prison. It's a brig on a ship
mm-hmm.
that's theoretically, used for war. And I would think that the same rules would not need to apply. So yeah, it struck me as odd too that there weren't already cameras.
The only justification that I can make for it is I think Baltar's in the makeshift brig, the one that they built.
Yeah, but they built that one like 4 years ago.
Fair, which yeah, they should have put one in by now. But that's the only
Yeah.
justification I can make for it because presumably Caprica 6 is in the other cell. So, um, we let me see here. Roslyn sort of asked what Gato was doing there. And he's like, I couldn't sleep, and I figured, maybe Baltar might be willing to talk to me. And Adama's like, we understand, but leave his interrogation to us, essentially.
Yep.
So that's the end of the scene. Also worth noting, I noted here, this episode is directed by Edward James Olmos. So he got to direct
Oh,
this one, which is kind of cute.
interesting.
Mm-hmm. We then have Apollo coming home drunk to tea. Back to the bitch wife. And this is just the most stereotypical bullshit scene of all fucking time where he's like, yo, you're up late, honey. And he's drunk very clearly. He's like, Chief says hi. And she's like, oh, one of your new drinking buddies. It's like, oh, it's not your thing. It's like basically we're doing the drunk husband comes home and she's like, are we still on for dinner tomorrow, honey? It'd be nice for a husband and wife to occasionally, he's already asleep. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, we're doing the drunk husband comes home to his wife who's resentful of it bit.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It's
Ugh.
look, I'll say this right now. We get a lot of bullshit, bad marriage stuff in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that goes on between Kara and Anders mostly works.
Yeah, I didn't hate that part.
The stuff that goes on between Lee and Dee, I fucking hate.
I just despise it. Yeah. No, I despise it.
And unfortunately, by the time the episode's done, I don't like either of them. Now, I think he's a worse person, but I'll get into my problems and why I'm like throwing my hands up on her as well by the end.
Yep, yep. Well, we have Rosalind is talking to Baltar, and Rosalind does a power move where she comes in and gives him glasses and pulls out a cigar and gives it to him in an echo of what he did to her back on New Caprica when she was in the cell. And he even
Mm-hmm.
says, "Touche, Madam President."
Yep.
So I thought that was a baller move. I'll just say, yeah. Um, yeah, and he's like, she says, I have no wish to see you suffer. He's like, oh, well, I had a tube forced down my throat. So I call bullshit on that, is what he says. He's like, eating for your own good, and nothing what we've done compares to the jail cells and your jail cells on New Caprica. And he points out, not my jail cells. It was the Cylons. And she says, it's an academic distinction at this point, Doctor. Um, and she then goes, none of us are enjoying this. Tell me what I need to know, and your suffering will end. And he sort of reiterates, like, I know nothing. My information on silent intelligence is limited. But then she starts going in on a different thing, pointing out, like, did you have high level security clearance way back on original Caprica Classic? And did you give the blonde woman that I saw you with back on Caprica, basically calling out that she knows that he was with Caprica 6. And he just denies it all. It's like lies, rehash of all the other lies. I didn't collude in the genocide of my own people. And we also get a head six moment in there, which is like she'll slush you out the airlock without a moment's hesitation. She says so. We get a little head six beat there as well.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you're expecting me to have thoughts. I don't really.
I mean,
Not on
I
this bit.
yeah, I thought it was just a makes sense for Rosalind. I thought it was a power move for Rosalind, but yes, it's the standard questions and interrogation there. Um, Rosalind then in another scene that we come back to start showing him pictures of dead people who have died
Well,
in the.
hold on. Let's back up. You
Mhm.
say shows. She's
Oh,
throwing them at
I
him.
was gonna get to that. Like she begins tossing the pictures at him. She goes like, did any pictures get through to you? Anything that happened to your people? Like pointing out you like your people, like, does any of this like mean anything to you? And he continues to like deny any involvement. And she's like, all right, she says to Ty, toss him out of the airlock. Um,
Like, here's the thing about this, and for this entire extended scene, is that she is yelling,
Oh yeah, she is building it up. Yep.
which I know there's an in-universe reason why, but it just seems so off.
Oh, it worked for me. I disagree. Yeah. I,
I Here's the thing. It's not that the performance is off. I dislike the choice to cover the escalation of her anger with the commercial break because
sure.
because we when the commercial break comes in, like she's still just calmly talking about him. We come out of the commercial break and she is already raising her voice and she starts throwing the things at him. Then she yells, "Throw him out the airlock!" Like what I as someone who likes a good interrogation episode,
Mhm.
like the interrogation episode was one of the best episodes of Babylon 5. I really liked some of the interrogation stuff that was done on Farscape. Like I love a good interrogation scene. They skip over most of it.
Yeah, the fun part.
Yeah, the escalation and the rapport that is developed is a big part of what I like about interrogations as a trope. And they just skip it and jump right to her yelling, which again, it's not that her performance is off, it's that that skip made the whole thing feel weird to me,
Yeah,
which
fair.
has an in-universe explanation because we're going to find out she's bluffing, she's not really going to
Yeah,
throw him
that's what I
out
was
the
saying. It's
airlock.
like performative, yes.
Yeah, so like it gets covered, but it's still like I was immediately kind of detached from proceedings, being like, how the fuck did we get here and why would you skip it?
But yes, she like Balthar's being dragged out to the airlock. Balthar's like, I demand a fair trial, I'm a citizen. And Rosalind's like, these are just she drags him through the wall of the memorial wall where we have all the pictures of the people who have died, and she sort of yells like, these are just the fraction of the people you sent to their deaths. And like he says, stop, 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 and he picks up a picture. And he's like, this is a lab assistant. I'm godfather to his child. I helped introduce him to his wife. I wouldn't do anything to harm this man or his family. I am innocent. Why won't you believe me? Is this what you call colonial justice? As she like says, bring him back to his cell. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, she was bluffing to try and get him to admit some level of culpability and guilt. So, which he does
Yep.
not do. We then cut back to Adama, Ty, and Rosalind talking, and I think Adama says, "You gave it your best shot. The bastard still won't talk. He has more stones than I gave him credit for, and knew I was bluffing." That's what Rosalind's saying. And
Well,
Adama,
Ty's the one who says he had more stones than I gave him credit for.
yes, yes. Adama then says, "Well, there's one last thing we can try. There was experimental drugs that we had, where it would keep the prisoner in a constant state of heightened anxiety, so intense they believe their survival was at stake, and then their interrogator become less an adversary, more of a lifeline. And it's dangerous to someone in Baltar's condition, but we do have these drugs on Galactica. Like Rosalind asks, we have these, and he's like, presumably says yes, because we cut away
Yeah.
at that point. So, yeah. Gonna use drugs. Good old drugs.
Drugs.
We then cut to a scene where Starbucks and Anders are sitting in Starbucks bunk post coitus, post fucking. They got one little sheet keeping them.
Yeah, like if there was something that gave it away earlier, I missed it. But like by the end of the scene, when I think it's Anders gets up to leave and like pulls the sheet back, like there's people just milling about.
Yeah.
Like I damn. I actually really like that detail, like how not private this entire conversation actually is.
No, I like that as well. Yeah, like Andrews is getting up to leave, and she's like, "Oh, you're being accommodating. Your wife calls you for a quickie, and you grab the first shuttle over." And he's like, "Look, I've been thinking." He kind of is like revealing that he kind of came not just for the sex, but a chance to talk to her. And he's been says, "I've been thinking about Leoben and Destiny. What if there's something to that?" And I immediately went. Here's my thought. I was like, "Oh, great, Vera's gonna hate this." I actually like where this goes because his argument is like he's like, oh yeah, Kara Thrace and her special destiny says like, think about it though, why did I wait for a new Caprica? Why did you go through all the hell just so you could ditch me? It's like, and he asked like, do you love him? Talking about Lee, and she says, do you love Lee? And she says, Starbuck's like, maybe I don't know, and he's like, then you gotta go to him. And I will say the Destiny bit here, I liked. Not because it's not angling for like she has some big special destiny and the purpose of all the things and she's some very special child who's going to change the universe or whatever. But it's him sort of like trying to argue that like there was some meaning behind their relationship, which is coming from a personal place that like I don't think has anything fuck all to do with what Lee Open's talking about when he talks about destiny, but he's making it personal. And I
No,
really kind of like that reframing of it.
I'm sure it doesn't. I'm kind of at a point in my life where I actually kind of find the notion of destiny a little offensive.
Oh, I agree 100%. Like destiny is usually like some level of control. Like you have a destiny God gave you. Do they tell trans people and like why you can't change your body? Or like it's a common trope of like destiny is like
Like that's at its harshest level, but even the softer levels that are like everything happens for a reason, and I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't.
mm-hmm.
Like, and I would that more people would come to terms with the fact that shit does not happen for reasons.
Yes, yeah. I agree. Yes, I agree very much so. But again, it works for me in this scene because it does feel like him arguing from a place of like there's a meaning to our relationship sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like
Here,
I don't like the idea of destiny, but I don't mind it as a character choice for him to make the argument from.
here's what I will say. I don't care for the invocation of destiny just in general, and this scene does not change that for me. That having been said, I mentioned earlier, their stuff largely works for me. Their interaction, the fact that she is honest with him, that
Mm-hmm.
he asks her, "Do you love Lee?" And like she kind of pauses and she's like, "I don't know, maybe." And I the this relationship in general, I appreciate the depiction of because it manages to thread the needle of being both honest and messy. Because while I do think that honesty and open communication is incredibly essential to anything that's even going to approach a vaguely healthy relationship, just because you have that doesn't mean the relationship works. So it's interesting to see something threading the needle between two characters who are not lying to each other, are being honest, are being open, but it's still kind of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate it's a dynamic I appreciate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair. I agree very much so. Well, we go to a much better dynamic, if you can hear the sarcasm, with Lee and D. Like, it's back in their quarters, and it's like, D says, I thought you were off duty, and Lee's like, oh, I'm going to the bar, and then she gets all fucking, she's like, if you're gonna see Kara, just admit it. It's like, he's like, Lee says, I'm not cheating on you. And like, yeah, oh, Kara said that. You told me that's all a crock of shit. And he's like, you won't trust me. It's your own insecurities. You know, um,
I mean, first of all, we've been through this already. Yes, he is.
oh, yes,
Yes, he
yeah.
is. Yes, he is cheating on her. Like,
Or,
has he fucked Kara? No, but that's not the sole metric. Piece of
mm,
shit.
when he says, oh, I loved you since the first moment I proposed. And, like, he's like, I did, and D says, yes, I did see this coming. I was naive enough to marry you, anyways, because I loved you so fracking much. I thought I was lucky, so I could just have you as long as you or Kara would let me. And she's like, this is not a marriage, Lee. This is a lie. You want to be with Kara? Go ahead. I won't stand in your way. It's over. Basically saying their marriage is done. Uh, Can I just
I
can I just
wish.
can I just look? We've established that Lee is not cheating, or is cheating. Excuse me, is what I meant. But the
Yeah.
show, by I think by the moral logic of the show thinks he's not. And I think what it's
That
trying to
see
do is
that's
portray Dia as being really, really insecure and not trusting. And again, I hate it because it's the like, oh yeah, Dia is the bitch wife who just doesn't trust her husband.
like that is something that I have kind of felt, but I have held back on saying for a while on whether or not I thought the show agrees with Lee that he thinks he's not cheating.
I think it does.
I am inclined to say that I think it does. Or let me put it this way. If it doesn't, it does a really bad job of being clear that it doesn't agree. That is my best case scenario on this. Because, yeah, this does come across like it's trying to be oh, both sides are at fault. She's at fault because she won't trust him. She shouldn't trust him.
Hmm. And like it's also and it's played as like she's being untrusted, she's being ridiculous because we know at this point that Lee isn't going to see Kara. Like he isn't actually right now. And so her being like, you're going to see her, and she's like she's portrayed as the ridiculous one in this scenario.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like, and it's
Just because she's wrong about this specific thing doesn't mean she's wrong to be mad at him and to not trust him.
mm-hmm.
And
So
this
yeah.
is one of those things that can really drive me up the wall because, like, I can be to a limited degree. I can be empathetic to people who get accused of stuff they didn't do because of a history that they have. Like, and I know how infuriating that can be. But this is a case where you don't get any sympathy from me for that,
Well, because
Lee.
he hasn't owned up to the previous times. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, he is I fucking hate, like, honestly, I want him to be dead by the end of this season.
I'm
I'm
the same.
really fucking done with him. And I know he won't be because, like, he's one of the legacy characters from the original show. So he's gonna be in all four seasons at minimum. But I would like him to be fucking dead. I cannot deal with this guy anymore. And I
Yeah, no.
do not think the show has any good stories for him. And I do not trust it to come up with any. They haven't done anything interesting with him in a full season.
Yeah. You forgot the fat shaming. You got the fat shaming with him. Come on. All right, well, I'm mad. I'm gonna get death stare. Oh, anyways. Uh so we see Dee leaving Apollo and Anders leaving Starbuck. But the distinction in these moments is Dee just leaves Apollo in anger, and uh Anders kisses Starbuck and he says, I love you on the way out, which
Yeah.
is a distinction between the two.
Yes. And
Uh
like the thing is though, while I understand that they are contrasting these two dynamics, I find Kara and Anders's dynamic interesting even without the comparison.
yes. Oh, yeah, very
So
much so.
it
Yes.
doesn't benefit from this bullshit.
Yes. We then cut to Baltar's being given drugs against his will. He's yelling like, I'm a human being, I have rights. Head six, and sort of like he says, help me, and head six comes in and is like, pain is one thing, but without free will, what are you? So like she's saying she can't like take away the pain like she did with the Cylons a few episodes ago.
Mm.
And they stick him with the needle against his will, and he's like, no, 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 oh God. And Coddle says he's under.
Now,
Um,
here was something that probably means nothing, but I noted it anyway.
mm-hmm,
Because he does shout, he shouts, "My God."
mm-hmm.
I noted that, and it stepped out at me because repeatedly up to this point, multiple characters have had this kind of a "oh gods,"
Mm-hmm.
line. Gods plural.
Mm-hmm.
But Baltar in his moment of panic just says "my God,"
Mm-hmm.
singular. Interesting.
Yep, it is interesting. Yep. And then that gets there's a moment later on that'll kind of reiterate a little bit of this too. Um, but yes. And he strap his head down and sort of like wait for the drugs to take effect. We then cut to a scene between Starbuck and Apollo where Starbuck or sorry, yeah, Starbuck asks Lee, will you leave D if I leave Anders? And he's like, what? So you can pull another 180? It's not a dogfight. You can't constantly like just change your mind in the middle of battle. And she's like, she's fucking done with it. Yeah, again, this just makes me hate Lee more because she's like, think
I
about it.
mean,
It's what you
like,
do. What you're best at.
this is about the only thing he does that I'm not fully against him on. I don't like he's a dick in
Oh,
the
he's a
way
dick
he
about
brings
doing
it
is
up.
what I mean. Yes, like she does
But
have a history of.
yeah, he's not out of line to question, like, okay, last time you were like, let's get together, I woke up the next morning and you were married to someone else. That is not an unfair thing for him to bring up. He's being a complete fucking tool about it, though.
Yes, he's being an immature little baby. We then have Baltar on drugs, and he's floating in an empty void of water, so nothing there, and there's a light that
I
is
I
recent.
I think it's just Lee's mind quarry, but it's
Yeah,
at night.
yeah,
That's
that was
that's
my
my
instant thought as well. He's in the same mine quarry. Um, but yes, he starts saying, "Where am I?" And you can hear Admiral Dama talking, like he's talking in real life, but like it's sort of an echoey voice from within Baltar's mind. He's like, "I'm looking for you. You can tell us where you are." And he's like, "It's cold. It's dark. I can't see." He's like, "Can you see? Try to reach for the light." And he's like, Adama is shining a light in his eyes in real
Mhm.
life, and for Baltar, he just sees a light above him in the darkness. He starts seeing Caprica 6. And she's like, she saved my life, shielded me from the explosion. And he's like, did you conspire with her? So basically, he's telling them like, oh yes, I was with Caprica 6 during the explosion, during the genocide of humanity on Caprica. And they sort of asked, did you conspire with her? And she's like, conspiracy requires intent. I don't know. I didn't know. Did I conspire? Did I? Like, I didn't mean to do all that. Like, I don't know. It wasn't my fault. I am not responsible.
Of
Um,
course not.
so he does not.
Never
He's
take responsibility.
Yes, exactly. He shows that he has some doubt about whether or not he conspired, but he ultimately comes very firm down of I am not responsible. So
I,
I
I I feel like that is his foundational belief about himself. He
hmm
has two foundational beliefs. I am smart and I am not responsible for anything that happens.
Yep, I am special and I am not responsible. Yep. But he starts having a seizure. Um and six is still in there, and he says, "Oh, Caprica 6, she chose me, chose to seduce me, guide." But then he starts saying, she guided me between light, or is she guided me to light or dark? Is she an angel or demon, imaginary, real? My own voice or the voice of blank? He doesn't get to say that. So reiterating that question of if she's real or not, and what is she? Um, but then they start saying, "Give us the details about the silo, and we're going to let you drown in the dark," like Adama says. And
Mhm.
Baltar pauses for a moment, and then he just starts yelling. So,
Yep.
mm-hmm.
So this is going swimmingly.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But I did really like the scene. It's very eerie. I kind of enjoy it. I like the way that like James Callis portrays Baltar in this moments and everything. I think it works very well for me.
I think he does a pretty good job of coming across that his answers feel very panicked because I think the least interesting way to play this would have been like he's in a trance just answering questions, but like it really plays up just this sense of just being terrified
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
and confused.
Mm-hmm. We then have Apollo looking at his ring at the bar because he's just got so much man pain. And the chief is there, and he sort of is like, "Why is it so fracking hard? Why can't we just get back to normal?" And Chief's like, "Normal? What is normal, anyways?" Um, and then Apollo sort of asks, like, "Chief, you can tell me if I'm out of line here. Do you ever think about Sharon? Way back when he dated original Boomer?"
Yep.
And he's like,
And I
Chief is like,
kind of wish Chief had told him right then, you're out of line, shut the fuck up.
"Yep." And he's like, "No." And Apollo reiterates, like, "Come on, you never wonder what if?" And he's like, "No." So.
Yeah, I fucking hate Lee at the end. Like, I get that he's drunk. I don't care. But like this is such classic douchebag behavior, this belief that other people are as fucked up as you.
Mm-hmm.
And so he asks another guy who's clearly having some relationship troubles of his own, asking him like, "Oh, you fuck up the same way I fuck up, right? We fuck up the same."
Mm.
No, dude. Stop looking to me for comfort because you're fucking up.
Hmm. We then cut to Baltar again. He's like, don't leave me. I know I'm flawed. Mistakes were made. I never said I wasn't flawed. Terrible mistakes. They were mine. Am I solely to blame? I was a player. I struggled to find my place in God's plan. I never intended for certain things to happen. Um, so yeah. So he's like constantly like coming up with excuses for like like it's not my fault. I was just a player. I did not any of these things.
Yeah, like he's not really full confessing, but he's also not denying involvement. He's not
Mm-hmm.
he's not denying participation, but he is denying fault.
Mm-hmm.
Always to the
Always and always.
last fucking breath.
Mm-hmm.
See that
Um,
and like for folks who aren't watching the YouTube version of this, I said that with a big smile on my face. And this is the difference between somebody who's a weasel shit, who's a good character who I like having around, and fucking Lee right now.
yes, yes.
I can say that somebody fucking sucks, but one of these characters, I'll say it with a smile. The other one, I will wish I hadn't already finished my drink.
Yeah, no, we enjoy hating Baltar. Yeah, and the
Oh,
show
yeah.
understands that we should hate Baltar. The show understands that he's a piece of shit.
Hating Baltar is so rewarding.
Hmm.
Hating Lee fucking sucks.
Yes. Anyways, we then have this one moment where Baltar imagines himself waking up as a Cylon, but in the Cylon pod, but he's in his normal clothes this time. And they start asking him like, "What are the Cylons? You took the Cylons to the Eye of Jupiter. What did it tell them?" And Balthar says, "I wasn't looking for Earth or anything like that." And they sort of ask, "What was he looking for?" And we start seeing these hands touching him, and it's kind of like there's just like these small hands like kind of touching his body, kind of like he's Jesus in a way, like they want to all touch his body in some way. And then Balder says their faces, but they wouldn't show them to me. Whose faces? And he sort of reveals the final five Cylons. I thought I might be one of them. I told them I wanted to be one of them, and they asked why. He's like, then all my sins would be forgiven, a new beginning. And they ask, like, are you a Cylon, Dr. Baltar? And I really like this because that he like pauses for a minute, sort of thinking about it, and then he just goes, no. And kind of admits to himself that he knows he's not. And then we cut up and we see all the people who are touching him, and they're dead kids. They're like very clearly like dead children mostly, and there might be some adults in there, but it's mostly kids that we see
Yeah.
front and foremost. Um, and I really liked that visual. It's very haunting and very creepy. I really liked it, and it gets at the sense of visually that like he is very much haunted by all of these things, and he constantly denies fault, but he like there's some part of him underneath it all that still like feels all the guilt of all of it. He will never really admit it to himself, but he feels it, and I really liked that. I thought that was a really cool visual.
Yep. No,
um
solid stuff.
yes. um and they sort of demand like, tell me what you told the Cylons, tell me or I have to let you go. Adama says, and the kids start pushing Baltar under the water.
Yep.
Again, very cool. I really all of that I really liked. I thought that was a really cool scene and really cool visuals. So
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
then we cut to drunk Lee stumbling through the corridors, and he starts going, does anyone see my ring? Does anyone see my ring? I lost my ring. And he starts crying in the hallway because he's
Well,
got his man pain.
like he's tossing stuff aside, like looking for it, and like everybody knows he's drunk.
Yes.
Like anyone passing by, and they're just looking at him like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's he's got his man pain. It's like I don't care. Fuck you. Ugh.
This God, he's
Yeah.
such an asshole.
Yes. But Balthar starts having a seizure again, and then Kyle says, I'm putting an end to this. So that ends that sequence. But then we cut away to Rosalind, and she sort of makes the connection between the Final Five and the Temple of the Five that we kind of alluded to in earlier episodes. Um, and they sort of talking about like he's still holding back a lot, and maybe we can try more direct methods. And Ty has this one-off lines like, "Oh, yeah, now you have my vote." Um, but Raza makes the argument. It's like, well, we've tried the stick. Maybe we should try the carrot, even if because right now he believes even if he talks, we'll kill him. We need to make him feel like if he collaborates, he'll at least have his life. And they sort of, I think, Ty, I don't forget who says, but he says, "It won't buy that coming from us," and so they need to find someone that he trusts. Cut to Gata talking to Baltar. And Baltar sort of talking. We get some intercut here. I'm just gonna keep it one scene, but we get some intercutting between Apollo and D and Gata and Baltar. We'll stick with Gata and Baltar here first. Um, and he's like, "I think I may owe these people a debt of gratitude. It forced me to admit my failings. I feel liberated. In my heart, I know I did what I had to do." It's like, so now he's like, "I feel so absolved of all my fucking guilt."
Oh, thank you for putting me through this. Now I know it wasn't my fault. God, you
I love it. Yeah, it's just such a shitty thing. It's just like, yeah, no, I put me through all that, and now I'm certain I definitely didn't do a damn thing wrong.
God, he's
um,
fucking off.
he really is. He really is. But yeah, Gata says, I can't promise you a trial, but if you give them something, talking about like the Dama and Rosin, it's like, maybe you'll have your life, And he says, these charts, I've been plotting a course to Earth, but I've been never confident in my calculations. And he's like, Valtar very humbly says, likely because the calculations are all wrong. Yeah, these figures are all wrong. And he sort of starts like kind of offhandedly saying like, sideline navigations are better. I've committed a lot of the algorithms to memory. Um, and Gata's sort of like, well, if you do that, maybe they'll spare your life for help. We can get you out of the cell, give you proper quarters. And that sort of sort of like catches Baltar's attention. He's like, oh, creature comforts. That was the clincher. To like get me to get involved. And he says, where is it? And he sees the camera. Which again is weird because I would have assumed he would have known. It
Yeah,
seems like a big reveal, but
and also like granted it's directly above his head, but it also is like it's not hidden.
yeah, it's like
It's
very
just kind
obvious.
of there.
Yeah,
The whole beat with the cameras is very strange.
yes, but yeah, Ty says so much for that stratagem. And then Balthar starts going in on Gata. It's like, you should have known you to betray me. What did you tell them? You fed information to the resistance. Who do you think allowed you to do that? I literally had a gun. And Gata's like, no. He's like, I literally had a gun pointed in my head, but no one forced you to play both sides. Who is the real traitor in this room? And Gata's like, I am not again, such a piece of shit.
The
Balthar. It's like
fucking worst.
I was the one who allowed you to go and help the resistance. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
fucking piece of shit. Um, and yeah, she's like, Gata's like, I am not a traitor, and he's like, oh, there are far worse things. If only they knew the truth. Don't worry. And he sort of like whispers something in Gata's ear, and Gata shoves him and then stabs him in the neck with a pen, and he starts
Yeah.
yelling, "Frak!" was like, "Fuck!" I forgot about that. I was like, Jesus Christ. Um, and they're like, yeah, we need to get like right before that moment, like Adama and everyone was like, we need to get in there now.
Yeah, you
um,
think?
yep. And so they get in there, and Gata's like threatening to kill Baltar. He's like, I can't let him live after what he's done. And Roslyn sort of says, hey, I understand. And the other night when you came here, you weren't coming to talk to him. You came here to kill him. I understand that. Um, and sort of while Gata's distracted listening to her, they're able to like take Gata out. And Coddle sort of notes, like, yeah, he missed the artery. Baltar's going to live. So,
Yep.
yep. So Baltar gets lucky again.
What a shock.
Uh-huh. Then we cut over to this scene was being kind of intercut a little bit with the Baltar scene, but it's an Apollo and D scene at the bar. And he's sort of saying to D, like, nothing I say can make this right. Something you need to know. I asked you to marry you because I'm in love with you. I loved Kara in my heart, but I loved you back. Looked back at our marriage. You are good for me. I don't think I realized that till I was losing you. Give me another chance. Is all I'm asking. Literally the cliche line. Um,
There was a specific line
sure,
that set me off
sure.
that he said, you are good for me. I need you.
Not her fucking job.
Look, there is some degree of validity and even romanticism to the notion of your partner makes you better. They make you want to be better. They bring out the best in you. They help you be a better version of yourself. That notion alone that you improve me and you improve my life, that is not a problem. It becomes a problem when that's all you can think to leverage. When you're in a situation where the other person has every fucking right to walk away and leave you, and your plea is, you're good for me, I need you. You can't even make a case for being better for them. You are putting the responsibility of your happiness or your ability to even function onto another human being who you've already hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I just wrote down, go to hell.
There's a really good moment. This is going to be an odd thing, but in LA, they recently had Paranormal Activity, the play, which is actually really fun. I was so curious about it. I'm like, what the fuck is a Paranormal Activity, the play? And I went and saw it with my own partner. And it actually was a really good play because the fun of it was you could see both stories of the house on screen. So like when they're downstairs, you can see ghost shit happening upstairs that they're unaware of, which is kind of fun. It was a very fun way to do the play.
Well, also, if it's a play, I would assume it's fully scripted as opposed to the improv bad
Yes,
acting of the
very
original
scripted.
movie.
It's very scripted. So there's that element of it, the two-story element of it, and also they have a couple like stage tricks where they like do some surprising like I don't want to spoil in case anyone actually does go out and see the play at any point because it travels. And I would actually recommend it. It was a lot of fun, but they have some like fun stage magic that like does some ghost shit that I was like, oh wow, that's actually really cool. So it's worth seeing just for the spectacle of it alone. The story is solid. It's just a Paranormal Activity kind of storyline, but there is a good moment in it that I really loved because the kind of theme of the movie is how the husband does not value the wife on her own terms. It is
Yeah.
him sort of like being like, oh, she's there for me. And there's a moment where like they bring the normal like the seance coming, the like person who can help them with the ghost comes in, and the person she says like uh what do you love about each other, and the wife she gives like this whole long spiel about like all these things that she loves about him. He's smart, da 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 da. And then it goes over to ask the husband, and he's like, well, she makes me better, she improves me, and like has all this stuff about like how she's great for me. And the seance person is like, okay, anything about her. It has nothing to do with you. And it was such a
Yeah.
good like in this. It's played so well in the play where it's like you're like, oh shit, because it's like played as like a sincere moment. He's like opening up and being vulnerable, and she's like, yeah, anything about her though. So it's
Yeah.
very good. It was very good. So if you ever see, I would recommend it. It's actually a very fun play. Like I don't expect anything deep. It's a Paranormal Activity movie just as a play, but there's some fun spectacle to it that I liked, and
I'm
that scene
sure
was
it'll
fun.
come touring in northern Vermont any day now.
Yeah, I recommend it. It gets a plus up for me. Like I said, not the deepest play, but a fun one. But that beat was it. This reminded me of that beat. It was such a good moment because the play hasn't like been overt about that being the thematic of it. I was noticing it as I was watching, but like it wasn't overt about it. And that was the first moment where it's like being very overt. Like, yeah, this guy does not give actual shit about his wife or concerns. So
Yeah.
such a good like
And
shoe drop moment.
neither does Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And this could have worked
If the
if
show didn't romanticize it.
if she left him.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, I would have had a lot of respect for the show if that line in specific made her get up and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it would have made all this bullshit worth it, but it would have given it a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Just not what happens, though.
Yeah, she decides to stay with him, but there's a moment where Anders and Starbuck are at the bar as well, and Anders sort of like sees Apollo and sees Starbuck seeing Apollo and is like, "Hey, we don't have to stay here if you don't want to." And she says, "No, I want to." She kisses him, and they get two whiskeys, and they seem to actually be enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And this is when like Apollo sort of catches Starbuck's eye at this point, and like D sees this and all this, but like she chooses to stay with him.
And
Yay!
that was the moment that I threw my hands up on D as well. Now, that's not me saying she deserves to be stuck in a bullshit relationship with this guy. She does not. Nobody does. But this is the moment where, like, if I knew if she was real and she was my friend, this would be the point where I would have to say, okay, I can't be around you when you are with him, and you can't talk to me about him because I can't fucking deal with this anymore.
Hmm.
This is the moment where I have to throw my hands up on D and be like, this is something you're unwilling to fix. I can't anymore. Now, I wish I could say I'll just cling to the other parts of Dee's character, but they have whittled away most of what else she has done. She has been narrowed down to being Lee's wife. And so, what the fuck is there I'm supposed to care about at this point?
Hmm.
This is a broken marriage. You could argue that Starbucks and Anders is broken as well, but they have an honesty to them, and they are not, neither of them is trying to hurt the other. Are they? Possibly in some moments, but neither is trying. Neither of them ever does something to deliberately cause the other one pain. And when they come even close to doing that, they fess up to it and they have a conversation about it. It is a functionally dysfunctional relationship. It's not something to aspire to, but it's something that I can go, okay, there's something salvageable there. I look at Lee and Dee and I'm like, fucking divorce. I don't care if you get with Starbuck. Fucking divorce. This is broken.
Yep. Fun. Well, we then cut to Baltar is in bed, and Head Six is there, and she said it could have been worse. You're not one of the five. You do have luck of the gods, and he's like, you are the chosen one. And she's like, you didn't tell them that, did you? And he's like, everyone's got to have a secret. So Baltar still believes he's the chosen one. Again,
Of,
it's
co-
open
of,
to
of, of course he does.
I was say it's open. Like you can roll your eyes at like, oh, the show is saying he's the chosen one, but like,
No, but
very,
like him thinking he is something that I laugh at because, like, of course he fucking does.
mm-hmm, very much so.
I don't like when the show says it. I don't like when any other character says it. I like it when he says it about himself, though, because then I could just shake my head and go, you piece of shit.
Hmm. We then cut to the final scene of the episode with Adama and Roslyn. And Roslyn sort of is talking to Adama. She's like, I told him I didn't take any satisfaction in harming him, but truth is, I was willing to let him endure suffering. It wasn't about getting intelligence or truth. I wanted a genuine admission of guilt. And Adama's like, you're not going to get that from Baltar. In his eyes, he's the victim, not the criminal.
Yep.
And it's like good summation, like a good understanding that Adama has. Like people like him, like Elon Musk, like Baltar, they never are the reason that anything is bad.
Baltar, Elon
Musk,
Musk, Sam
Trump,
Altman, Zuckerberg. Yeah.
all those assholes. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's not my fault the world's shit, even though I could literally tomorrow help end world hunger.
Yep. Yet, yes, my actions made everything worse, but it's also still somehow not my fault.
There was I actually recently learned about this. Apparently Elon Musk at one point said, "I want to help cure world hunger." And apparently the UN actually drafted a plan for like, here's if you give your money away, this would be how to cure world hunger. And they made it so that he would still be left with a few million,
Mm-hmm.
and he just decided not to do it.
Of
Because he wanted
course.
his money. Of course, he wants his money more. It's
Yeah.
just so blatantly obvious how much of his like, oh, we'll make abundance and we'll lift you all up by your like, we'll bring everyone up with us because we're the great men of society. Bullshit is just that bullshit and talk and all about its own fucking self.
Yep.
So, yep, yep. Anyways, they start talking about like, Adama says it's not too late for him to disappear. We could just disappear him, kill him, and be done with him, and not have to deal with
Hey,
it.
look, I'm glad somebody said it because,
Mm-hmm.
and look, I don't want Baltar gone. I love that little fuck, but
Mm-hmm.
when they're not having him bang Cylons for no goddamn reason.
Yeah.
When they're not doing that, I love having him around, but also like somebody needed to say it.
Yeah, no, Balthar is far and away the best part of the show. Like he is just so fun to hate. So, anyways, like Rosin says, we can't do that. For all his crimes, he's one of us. So Dama says, so what happens next? And she says, we give him his trial. And thus begins the next arc for the rest of the season.
How many episodes are left in this
This is
season?
episode 13, so 7 more.
They're gonna commit to 7 episodes of the trial of Baltar.
It's not like the trial is not 7 episodes. It is the lead up and all the bullshit of like, the controversy
Ah,
and stuff. I don't know. You're about to get one of my favorite guest stars on this show. Who is he's only in it for the Baltar stuff, but he's a fantastic guest star. You'll love him. I think you'll recognize him too. He's really great.
all
So,
right, we'll see.
but we will get there when we get there. No spoiler minute here, I don't think. I could, but nah, I think I'm good. I've said everything I need to say in previous spoiler minutes. So, what did you think of the episode?
Lee needs to die.
Yep.
Like I think back to the times when I was starting to warm to him, and it was when he was as far away from anyone even vaguely romantically entangled with him as possible.
Yeah.
Like those were the times that it was like, oh, they actually had to find something to do with him as opposed to this fucking bullshit.
Yep. Well, I will say, like, everything to do with Lee can fucking burn in a fucking fire. The stuff with Baltar I really liked. There's obviously some nits to pick with like the Roslyn skipping. I agree with you on the skipping the interrogation bit. But on the whole, like I thought the visuals and really getting at that point that like the show has been good at showing with him, but like really like putting really hitting the nail on the head with it of like this is a guy who's just never going to see himself as anything but the victim and of
Yeah,
really getting that mindset of those tech bro-y types or any real people with like power who like believe that like their power makes them special already.
yeah.
Been kept in a simulacra the whole fucking life.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I like that stuff. I like the Starbuck and Anders stuff because there's actual nuance to that dynamic,
mhm.
which I find interesting. And it also feels far less romanticized.
Yeah,
Weirdly enough, it's the far more functional relationship, and yet I feel like the show is romanticizing the far worse relationship a lot
yeah.
more, which is
Hmm.
just the fuck.
Doesn't help that she's like Dee is like one of the few black women on this show, and it's just like,
No,
oh, the
that
black
does
woman's here to like emotional support person for fucking the main
that
dude.
that doesn't really help either. But
Like, not saying it's about that, but it is just optically very shitty.
it
And probably
doesn't
speak to
help.
some internal biases of the writers, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, like you mentioned, that part of me was like, I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but
I wouldn't. Oh, sorry.
the fact that this show romanticizes Lee and Dee's relationship, um, to me, I have a hard time not reading it as somebody involved in writing this almost had their marriage end and pleaded for their wife not to leave them, and then she didn't, and they think that's romantic and they put it in.
Yeah, I'm probably sure about that.
That's really what this feels like. This
Yeah.
feels like a very unexamined plot beat.
Yeah. And I'll also just be clear. I've said this before, but just to make it clear, when I say stuff like that, like I'm not accusing the writers of being out and out racist. I'm accusing them of having biases. It's the same thing I've even said about shows that I really love, like Star Wars Andor. There's issues in that season about how they treat queer people and how they treat some women near the end. And I don't think it's like because they're raging misogynists. I love the show. I love the writers. I think they did a great job. But it does speak to some level of internal biases, the tropes that they will lean on for certain characters over others. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and like the more I think about it, the more I think like the show would benefit a lot from killing Lee.
Mm,
Like he
I
really
honestly,
has
yeah, it bring more
he
interesting stuff to Adama too. Yeah.
yeah, but he really has nothing to do at this point. He doesn't have his own ship to command anymore. I know technically he's the CAG, but like so what?
Star
We
Starbuck fills that role
know
well. Yeah.
we know Starbuck could take up that position. He's not the second in command. Like he's not. God, fuck, he sucks.
Yeah.
He
No.
just sucks.
And it's giving so much fucking time to him. Jesus.
Ugh.
I will say that this plotline ends soon, thankfully, and he gets something better to do that I do find more interesting, at least. Whether or not it'll be good, we'll see. I don't remember, but I do find it more interesting. So,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
And
Uh,
this, folks, this is why I hate romantic subplots and things because more often than not, they result in bullshit like this.
mm-hmm.
Always 100% of the time? No, sometimes not. but often enough that I hate when they show up because I'm just waiting for this shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, anything else of Vera?
Nah.
Alrighty then, stuff time.
Stuff. Well, you can find my stuff by looking for Council of Geeks. Patreon is what pays the bills. Any help you can give would be greatly appreciated. I could kind of use it at the moment, if I'm being blunt. The main thing that helps fund is the Council of Geeks YouTube channel. New videos every Saturday. I don't know what's going to be up around the time this comes out. I don't feel like running the math. But new videos every single Saturday. That is my most polished material. You can also find Council of Geeks on Blue Sky, and then there is my secondary channel, the Break Room of Geeks, where I put up unscripted reviews of whatever I have watched, listened to, read, or played lately. I'm not currently following anything. I was trying to follow Fallout, but then I fell behind on work, and I'm now like 5 episodes back. But
It's been good. I've
there's
been really enjoying it.
been that stuff on there. And that is the geeky stuff. There is, of course, also the spicy stuff. And for that, you can look for Vera Wild. Wild is spelled Wylde. And you can find increasingly spicy content on YouTube, TikTok.
Well, you can find me at Jesse Gender, where I do video essay style of stuff. Hopefully, by the time you are hearing this, it should either be out or close to coming out. My Ferengi video I've been teasing for forever, so check that out for there. I also have a secondary channel called Jesse Gender After Dark, where I do news, reviews, reactions. I am currently reviewing Star Trek Starfleet Academy, so go check out that. Also, to just shout it out, I am intermittently appearing on the Decoding TV sub podcast called Cast of Kings, which they're covering A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So if you want to listen to my thoughts on that show, I'll be over there hanging out with the wonderful David Chen and Kim Renfro. Um, and then I'm also on Nebula, the streaming service that houses my movie Identities, as well as the upcoming show Subliminal, of which I directed an episode of. Be coming out later this year. And I am also on Patreon that helps me pay my bills, so please support me over there if you can and get videos early and little extra vids that I do from time to time, as well as other perks. And I am also on Blue Sky and Instagram and TikTok intermittently here and there. I've been doing a little bit more of that, and I'll probably be tossing up stuff here and there. It won't be anything on any sort of regular schedule, but whenever I have a weird thought, I shot a video the other night. So I've been having this weird I've been doing this thing where I get high and watch The Pit because I fucking love The Pit and it's really good. It's weirdly enjoyable to watch high. But I got high and I shot a TikTok and I'm like debating putting it up because the TikTok was just a weird high brain thought of like I feel like I need to create the heated rivalry to Kirk/Spock fanfic pipeline and I need to figure out how to do it. Trying to figure out how to make Trekkies out of the heated rivalry fans. So I'm trying to debate if I put that TikTok up because I am very obviously high in that TikTok.
Your call.
I'm debating. It's not like a off-brand thing. It's just something I've never been overtly high in a piece of content before. So we'll see how it goes. Again, not that I'm against it, but it's just it's a brand thing, I guess. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's all my stuff. If you want to see me high, go subscribe to my TikTok. Anything else of Vera?
Nah.
Alrighty, with all that said, I hope y'all live long and prosper.
Be seeing you.